All right, hi guys. Happy New Year to you. We are at pattern-collections.com. You will note that it looks a little different. Ina and Nicole have rearranged things a little bit. So you're going to find at the top now, we're going to find new patterns and new videos. So all of the newest things are going to be listed here. Pattern focus is still right here, and there is still a weekly string. Artist focus, I'm not sure that there's been anything new lately. There's your FAQs, some write-ups, and of course the ebooks. Ebooks are very important. It is how Ina affords to be able to give this website to us for no cost. So please, if you have the means, please click on ebooks and purchase one or more of her books, and that will help keep this website going. We're going to go to pattern focus. I don't think I'm going to work on weekly strings, although I should go look at it. So this is this week's offerings. Making waves is today. You know what? I'm going to go back. Let me go back one. And I am going to go into weekly string just to look and see what kind of string might be there for. There's all sorts of them. There were some Christmas strings. I'm going to scroll all the way down. You can look at them by the words, but you can also look at them just on here. There were some Christmas strings. There was a Christmas ornament, a Christmas tree, some stars, a mitten. This is the weekly string for current weekly string, and maybe I will write that down. I don't know. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and write that down. It will look like it's going to have a long rectangle here in the middle. Oh my, that's really wonky. I didn't try drawing on my new area yet, and I think I have my paper not good. You know how I like to put down a piece of paper underneath? I think it might have gotten warped. I may have to go get a new one. All right, well, we'll make this one work. So that's weekly string number 60, and that's approximately what that looks like. Not sure you can even see that. I don't know why I didn't draw it in pen. I usually draw that in pen. Let me do that real quick. Something like that. It doesn't have to be super accurate, right? Just something similar to that. That is the string. So, not sure I'm going to use it. Go back home. Scroll down to pattern focus. Go down to today's pattern, which is making waves. Click on it so it gets bigger. I'm not sure if anybody has done a video on it. I don't always remember to scroll down. There is no video, current video. There is the link to the newest ebook. Highly recommended. It was a good book. So we're going to do this one by Karen Sison. First thing we are going to do is make a snaky ribbon shape. And we're going to aura it. That's simple. We can all do that. And then it appears that we're going to make another snaky shape going through. See how it's going through there? You just got to skip that spot. So behind, around, behind, around, behind. So you're going to make another snaky shape. Or if you can't think of it that way, because that's the way I think of it, I immediately saw the snaky shape behind. But if you don't see it that way, you're going to make a little crescent, and then you're going to skip, and you're going to come over right behind the next spot, make a little crescent, and then you're going to skip and make a little crescent, skip, make a little crescent. Okay, either way you have it in your brain, both work. Then it looks like from that first little crescent, we're then going to make petals coming this way until we hit the next crescent on each side. Okay, once you hit the crescent, you stop and you go to the next one. So some of them will have, this one only had 3 because there wasn't much room in there. This one will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because there's a lot more room between this crescent and that crescent. And then it shows us putting a little dark right inside each of these. I imagine that you could be done with it at this point, depending on what you want to do. And then a little bit of dark in there so that it looks like that. And she, on her sample, has put a little leaf-like thing sticking out and a couple of dots. You do whatever you want. So let's give that a go. You noticed how this one is really more snaky than this one. This one's a little less. It's a much softer curve. Also, do whatever you want. Okay, so I'm going to put my hand here and turn on my light. Watch that glare. Sorry about that. It just is going to happen. But I need to be able to see. Yeah, that's a little lumpy. Okay, I'm going to need a new piece of paper. This piece of paper got kind of lumpy. I need something to draw on. Okay, so I'm going to put myself a border. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. I am not going to use that string, I don't think. Yeah, no. I don't see how I would use it. Effectively. I'm just trying to, I'm looking at it, I'm looking at this. This is the string. And I'm trying to figure out if I was to make that shape somewhere, how would I incorporate it into with these boxes? And I just don't see it. So I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to start with my pen. Go right in. I'm going to just go for it. Where I'm going with it, I don't rightly know. Guess I'm just going to go corner to corner. Maybe I will make the border. I don't always make that choice right at the beginning. Sometimes I make it after, but I think, oop, it got stuck. All right. I used my bigger pen for the border, just making a nice thick line. And I'm going to just go across, not quite corner to corner. I'm going to offset it just a little bit because that just makes it too much right down the middle for me. I'm going to go a little bit off. Yeah, that lumpy piece of paper underneath is not helping me any. So we're going to aura that like that. And then we're going to come and we're going to come through here, skip, and come through here, skip, and come through here, skip. I'm going to make that one really big and skip, and that way, and skip, and here, and there like that. So I've meandered this line here, and I've meandered this other one behind it. Looks good. Okay, then where do we start? We start here. So about at this point, I go this way. I need to get a little closer for you, probably. something like that. And then this one going the other way. Like that. Something like that. Oy. So how was you guys' holidays? I hope you had a really good time. Like you guys know, you saw me because I drew ahead, but I really took some time off just to be with my family, take some time to not... I did draw in my personal journal, but I didn't do any videoing. And it was good. I needed that time to just relax a little bit. Did some fun stuff over the last few weeks that I can chit chat with you guys about. And that one you really won't see. Okay, so that's the basic pattern. And then it wants us to do these little dark bits, which would be kind of a teardroppy shape in there like that. So we had family here for the week between Christmas and New Year's. We did our family Christmas on the Friday between Christmas and New Year's, because that's when we could get together. Yeah, I don't like this. My paper keeps bumping up. That makes it hard to draw. Yeah, we had a good time. My niece, we do a gift exchange. You know, we'd like draw names. We don't give to everybody because the family's kind of big. So we did, my niece always has some sort of game to play to pick the order in which we open our gifts, and every year it's something different. And this year it was a family feud, boys versus girls, and the guys skunked the girls. How that happened, I don't rightly know, but they did. But that was fun. We had a lot of people at the house, not at our house, my brother-in-law's house, for that Christmas event. Between family and extended family and, you know, friends that are like family. I believe somebody counted and we were at like 35 for dinner. That's usually about right. And then a couple of days later it was New Year's Eve, and it was at my brother and sister-in-law's house, different brother and sister-in-law. And once again, we had a different group, most of the same group, you know, the core group, the family was the same group, but the friends were a different group. And we still had about 30, 35 people for New Year's Eve, or parts of New Year's Eve. Not everybody stayed all the way till midnight, which is cool. I totally get that. I was having a tough day, New Year's Eve day. Wasn't my best day, and I was a little grumpy, and I'm sorry that happened, but it did. Sometimes you just have those days, you know. I was tired. I'd had enough of all the things that were going on around in my house. It was just overwhelming for me. I'm an introvert by nature, and I need quiet time, and I didn't have that, and so I wasn't able to really recharge the way I normally do, and I just kind of lost it. So, but you know, my family is awesome, and they all just loved me anyway, and they just let me do what I needed to do in order to refresh, and kind of left me alone to wallow in my own misery. And by the time New Year's Eve was over, I had relaxed a little, had a little alcohol, which probably helped my mood a little bit because I unstressed just a little, and yeah, had a good night. So, you know, it was temporary. I always try to remember that, you know, even when I'm having a bad day, that it's just temporary. It won't last forever. So I think this is what I was supposed to do. That's pretty cool. I'm going to back up a little bit. I don't care much for this dot that ended up here when I did my border. It's not making me happy. So I think what I might do is I might grab my brush pen, which is this one, and just go back over my border with a little bit wider and just cover that puppy up. Like that. Beautiful. Oh yes, much better. See, if you don't like one of your lines, just cover it up. And then, do I want to do something else with this, or is it done? That's the other thing you have to ask yourself. I think it might be done. Let's give it a little shading, because the sample picture didn't really show much in the way of shading. Let's give it a little shading and see what happens. What do I want to do to shade it? Do I want to drop shadow? If I do, which direction is it living? I drew it this way, but I think it wants to live this way. That's also the joy of drawing in a square. You can choose any of these ways. Whatever feels best for you. That way it looks good too. But I think it wants to live that way. So I'm going to put my shading in such a way that just a little bit here. This. It's going to go like that, and then on this side, I want it on this side of this line. Now you don't have to think about light source when you're shading Zentangle. You can, and I often do, but you don't have to. You can just put shading wherever you think shading feels like it needs to live. But I think on this particular one, I want it to cast a shadow down here. So it kind of has a light source coming from this way. Something like that. And I want a little bit in here because I see those as holes. So in order to make them that way, I'm going to put a little bit of shadow in there. Just like that. And then get my little blending stump. Where's my medium-sized one? This one. And we're just gonna smudge this just a little to give it a little something. You really kind of need to smudge your shading because your eye will automatically create depth when it sees a fuzzy shadow. In the way of doing shading, I have a shading video somewhere. Yeah, it's been a while, but I think I show using the light and my hands like how the shadow is crisper when it's close, when your object is close. Like can I get a shadow there? See how the shadow has a nice crisp line because it's close to my paper, but the further up I go, the fuzzier the shadow gets. That's what you're doing when you're blending your graphite on your Tangle. You're creating that illusion of depth by making a fuzzy shadow. And as soon as you create a fuzzy shadow, see how that's fuzzy and that's not? As soon as I make the fuzzy shadow, this object here, the Tangle, feels like it's coming up off the page away from the background, whereas this seems flat. And the reason for that is because your eye automatically, your brain says, oh, if it's got a fuzzy shadow, it's farther away from the surface that it's casting the shadow on. So the fuzzier the shadow, the further away it is, and the more it pops up off the surface of the page. That's just the way your brain works. It's interesting how a flat object will look 3D based on where you put the shadows. See? It's not hard. It's just taking your blending stump. Now, if you don't have a blending stump, you can use a tortillon. I don't like them very much, but I do have them. They're more like a rolled piece. I don't know if you can see that. It's more like rolled paper. The blending stump is more like compressed paper that's like pulp into a stick form. This is more like flat paper that's been rolled into a point. Either one will work. If you don't have either of these, if you have just any old piece of paper, you can roll it up into a tortillon. That will work. If you don't have either of those, you can try a cotton swab, or I think I want a little bit darker around the edge there. Or you can even use your finger, but that makes a mess. So I don't use my finger. But you can use your finger. You know, if you don't have the supplies, if all you have is pencil, use your finger. it'll work. Or you can get a piece of tissue, you know, facial tissue, kind of blow your nose on, or toilet paper even. Roll it up into a little blob and use that. Try to keep your finger clean, but see, I can use my finger like that. It's just a little less accurate. So I like to be a little bit more accurate. But even when I go back and put a little bit more, because I like it, I wanted it darker, I still go back and fuzz that just a little bit. I get that that little bit of darkness right there. That's better. Yeah, see, now he's popping off of the page. I need to write the name. Oh, dropping things. Need to write the name. I need to sign it. Okay, making waves. First one of the year. It will be posted on the second week of the year. Yeah, we'll just be behind. It's okay. You guys can figure it out. There we go. I hope you guys had a really great, blessed Christmas and New Year's, and that we are going to go forward in a positive manner and make this year the best one that we can, no matter our circumstance. We can always take whatever is going wrong and make it better. And, you know, I learned that on New Year's Eve, that, you know, I was having a crappy day, but it became better. And I didn't let it get me down. I could have just said, heck with it. I'm not going to this party. I don't feel well. I'm mentally and emotionally spent, and I could have crawled into bed, but I didn't. I stuck it out and had a really great time. So I hope you do that too. Moving forward in 2018, we're going to try to make every day a better day than the day before. That would be good, huh? All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.